jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Saying that you're the best, you gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come back sports. Talking way too much, world come back sports. Talking way too much, world come back sports.
Yo, big shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game, man. A-side official, no negotiations needed, period. You already know WCS back with another one. Salute to Big Blunts and Boxing on deck. I see you, man. What's good? Stickin' Boys Fishing and Sports. Salute to you. What's good with it? Yeah, I'm going to drop the link in a matter of minutes. You know, boxing has been what it is. I'm good to see some of these fights that's happening. We're going to get to them. I like the unification that's going on at 160. The division's been pretty dormant, right? So when it comes down to Arislandi Laura and Janabek unifying, I like it, man. I like it because that will potentially set up a mega fight when it comes to undisputed, potentially, in the 160-pound division. Potentially. Who's going to win this fight between Laura and Janabek? I don't know. Laura has been, pretty much showing that he's aging differently than most when it comes to his physicality. You know what I'm saying? His sustainability. Laura's been doing pretty dang well in the ring. I mean, I know Danny Garcia wasn't, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't that much of a test. They say he has some personal stuff going on. I get it. But Janabek is still looking for his breakout fight. And we'll see how that goes. Okay. We'll definitely see how that works out when he gets in there and the size difference. But I do see Janabek being a bigger fighter than Laura. All right. Who else is in? Bruce Gas, the OG. What's good? What's good? Let me get to this next point about letting people, who don't deserve the attention going about their business. Because you have people that will speak on your channel, but yet they want to give your channel attention, right? I'm not going to speak too much on it because I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't really, the material is whack, disinteresting, boring. You're basically going to use my thumbnail that tells me and use my audio that tells me that I'm winning. If you got to use somebody else's, thumbnail, I can see using their picture or using their audio to critique. But using audio to prove that you out there in a club with a bunch of Caucasian women dancing around, I mean, I proved my point. Yo, I proved my point, man. It's nothing else for me to say. If you believe that's what I meant in Texas, y'all know who I'm talking about. Okay? Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. If you believe, those of you that's over there believing this is trolling, well, that just goes to show you're used to being in that type of company, yo. Look, that means you're used to being in that type of company because no name, boring people like this that don't have anything else to do except, I've been yearning to go at WCS. I've been yearning. I've been looking forward to go at WCS. And then you come with some of the wackest stuff I've ever seen. This is not trolling. The times has changed. You know what I'm saying? Times has changed out here. To prove to me, to basically post material that I made, shows me that you're not creative at all. You're not creative at all at what you're attempting to do. It doesn't matter whoever, whenever, try to fill your head up and make it feel like you're in a rhythm. But to post a video of you dancing with a bunch of older 60 or 70-year-old Caucasian women, and you yourself being Caucasian, I mean, I can see where you felt invigorated. You felt empowered being in the presence of all those white women. You know, I really didn't see 2 or 3 black women in the crowd. So that whack ass dance you was doing, I could see you getting away with it. You know, the shit was hilarious. Hey, dude, what better thing to do to go to a nursing home and dance around with 60 or 70-year-old, white women, and just to prove a point that WCS say, hey, these dudes don't look like they attend the recreational lifestyle out there in Texas. And I was right. I didn't see Slowy Joey out there. Slowy Joey probably couldn't get in because he was slobbing on himself. They didn't let Slowy Joey in there. So Silly had to go up there and act a complete fool, doing dances that was back in the motherfucking 60s or 70s. And he feel invigorated and empowered and shit to be around those women because he said, damn, I don't have no other black men to compete with or nothing. You know what I'm saying? I feel good going out here doing this whack ass shit. Man, they're going to love me. Whenever you see somebody that's on the internet and they're not in the company of their own people, that means they don't like their own people. They despise their own people. They despise their own people. If they feel that that's a way for them to really get the attention that they need instead of hanging out. I mean, Texas big, y'all. Texas big. If you have dudes on here and they show you one video of them out there in Texas, y'all. Come on now, Texas. Man, Texas got some lit clubs out there. Bad women. You didn't see this dude next to one sister. One sister, y'all. He wasn't next to one sister at all. Not one sister. Some tells me he don't like our sisters, man. Real. I didn't see him interacting with one black person because I think the only black person that was in that gathering that he posted online, that old video when he visited the hospice care unit on the second floor. I just think that at the hospice care, the second floor, you know what I'm saying? I think that person was just up there checking to see if everybody was okay. They may have been like the host. You know what I'm saying? The one who set the place up. But this whack ass dude sent a video of him in there dancing with Little House on the Prairie. You know what I'm saying? Archie Bunker. And I mean, he dancing with a room full of non-sisters. And Slowy Joey was probably in the car beating his head off the window with a helmet on, I'm looking for something that deals with true Texas recreational life, the nightlife over there. Not this crap that you just showed. Hell no. Hell no. Man, you got to do better than that, man. Hell to the no. That's why I haven't and refuse to really give any type of attention. I mean, I'm talking about the quality attention that people thought I was going to get usually. I'm pretty much been chilling. But I understand where this is going. When that particular person, East Silly, was supposed to so-called meet somebody on a live and debate. I don't know what this dude wanted to debate about. I really don't even know who he is. They make a post over on YouTube. I respond to it weeks ago. They put it up like it's a brand new post. I was like, man, it's like a waste of time because when you're dealing with two inept, slow individuals that consider themselves to be important when they're inserting themselves in other people's business, it's just not entertaining. It's just they try to be funny, but it's just not happening, y'all. Yeah, I mean, I'm not interested. I'm be honest. You know, you people over there thinking this is something that gets you to smile, seeing a white brother over there dancing with hospice care members, you know, because he's doing volunteer work. I mean, get in where you fit in, man. That's all. Get in where you fit in. I'm about to drop this link, man. I know it was some people that wanted me to drop the link, and I know uh, Slowy Joey ain't gonna be over here talking about shit, you know. And I know E Silly, he'll post all that other stuff. I'm glad he's infatuated with, you know, clipping my video. I'm not gonna report you. I'm not gonna report you like y'all try to do me. You know, that's the only reason. That's the real reason why I'm not really giving them any attention, because I'm not playing this back and forth game. Oh well, let me put this content up there and wait till he say something, and then you know I want to report it to YouTube. I mean, to me, that's not really having a true, authentic roast session. If you want it, that's not a roast session. That's people that's up here being hoes. I mean, all you have to do is say, "Hey, if you was gonna use your content, your creativity, and I do the same thing, but when y'all reported my comment and then try to put it up as if I'm trying to have your channel taken down for what, man? Like that shit don't interest me. What is your channel doing? I'm looking at your videos and you're barely breaking like 500 views, but yet you make it seem like you're doing something that hasn't been done on YouTube. It's a waste of time, yo. I got other shit popping. For real. I got other shit popping that's more important to me. This doesn't interest me to really go in on these cats based off everything I know, you know, like they say the receipts and all that. It's no interest, man. The quality ain't there. Just extracting video and doing voiceovers with my audio, it's just not there, yo. It's just not there. Doing the shit over and over again, bro, it's not gonna go viral, man. I'm just saying it's not gonna go viral. But anyway, I'm off them cats. Especially Slowy Joey. Slowy Joey can't do shit on his own. I know he didn't participate in goddamn editing that video. I know that for a fact. Let's get back to boxing, because I'm just gonna leave that be on my terms, because it's really nothing for me to take the shovels out. You know what I'm saying? To really play around with the dirt and bury these cats. It's really nothing I want to do with the canvas of this whole situation. However, whatever they focus on me. It's not even something that gets you motivated. Where's the energy? It's not even a vortex. I'm waiting for something to pop up, you know, that's really energetic, man. Something that brightens up the room, not just, oh, let me do a Photoshop, let me do a video edit, let me show me in there, you know, dancing with hospice care members, you know, my kind. Let me show you that WCS said I didn't do anything, so I'm going to go searching for one long video of me dancing there with a bunch of women that's on AARP and Social Security. I mean, I can't do this, yo. Seriously. Let's get to something else. So this month is finally here, right? With Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney. And when it comes down to this particular fight right here, I think this is bigger than what people giving them credit for. Like, this is a big fight, man. It's been getting a lot of traction. You know, Devin Haney, 32-0. Norman Jr., 28-0, 22 knockouts, hosting a 78.5% knockout ratio. And, you know, Devin Haney, he's hosting a 46.88%. Both of these cats are young in the game. So you have to ask yourself, what is going to prevail and stand out the best between these two fighters? What I mean by that is Devin Haney has been highlighted and stamped as the more technically sound boxer. You know what I'm saying? They at one point in time say he was going to be the next Floyd Mayweather. And then you have Brian Norman Jr., who's really shown from the sparring and what he's shown us in the ring is that he's not just a brawler. He has toughness. He's improving every fight. Norman Jr. is not ever going to fight, in my opinion, like Devin Haney. They're two different fighters. He's not going to go up there and just pop the jab and stay on the outside and be technically sound the whole fight. Why? Because God blessed him with power. He blessed him with power. I mean, if you talk to some fighters and they'll say, if you can take this away but add this, what would it be? A lot of these fighters that don't have power, they would say, hey, you could take this away from, I learned that. I'll remediate that and give me some power. If you ask them, would you like to have power in one, your left or your right? I mean, that's where the conversation is going to get a bit more detailed. People are going to be like, okay, I understand where you at with it. Yeah, I definitely like to have it in this hand right here. Depending on if you're a southpaw or orthodox, but Brian Norman has power. So when I hear the conversation come up, how this fight is going to turn out, a lot of people are looking at it like, did you see Devin Haney doing the beach ball? That's not the first time we've seen him working out on the beach like that. But also you have to take in consideration the cardio and everything that we've been seeing from Norman Jr. The one thing I like about Team Junior, outside of them being out the A, right, is the fact that they have shown to be in tremendous shape. And for people that was criticizing Norman Jr. about footwork, he has footwork. People will look at him jump rope. That's not just it. The man has footwork. It's just when he be reclining his opponents and knocking them out, people feel that he's not really doing that on the fly. Like he really has to sit down on his punches. And I kind of disagree. With power, yeah, you can sit down on your punches, but I've seen, where he was sparring and he has enough power like that. He don't need to sit down on his punches and be flat-footed and really, use his hips and legs for every power shot that he lands. We seen Devin Haney in there with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia showed toughness against Gervonta Davis. He got up from that first knockdown, right? But he didn't get up from the body shot, right? But then when you go over to the Devin Haney fight, even though he tested dirty, Haney still took damage. So my biggest question mark in this whole deal with them matching up, who's a stronger fighter, because the true 147-pound welterweight is Norman Jr., right? I want to see how Devin Haney looks outside of the Ryan Garcia damage, the Ryan Garcia fight, the scandal. People was looking for that with the Ramirez fight. They didn't get it. I really want to see how he looks when Norman Jr. lands a shot in that 12-round fight. I'm not talking about just any shot. I'm talking about a shot that we can say that's a snapshot right there. That's the money shot. That's the frame we was looking for. I'm curious to know. I'm not saying, Devin showed a good chin. At one point in time, before Devin was even dropped by Ryan Garcia, it was a lot of people saying he was chinny, but at that point in time, Lomachenko had been down. Teofimo Lopez had been down. Ryan Garcia had been down. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of fighters that was in the same weight class as Haney. And people just used to speak about Haney getting rocked by Jorge Linares, but yet he had never touched the canvas until he went in there with Ryan Garcia. Teofimo Lopez had been down. That was his collective group of his compeers, had all touched the canvas, besides Devin Haney until he went in there with Ryan Garcia. So the inquiring casuals and boxing aficionados wants to notate. They want to assess how does Haney look in there with a puncher like Norman Jr. after the damage he took for Ryan Garcia. Because I'm going to be honest, it's no way that you're going to convince me that this fight goes 12 rounds and Devin Haney is going to be fighting on the outside. I don't see it. I just don't see this being a Jorge Ramirez fight, him just working the jab. Now, just because I don't see it, don't mean it ain't going to happen. The reason why I don't see it, I believe that Norman Jr. can close distance and be able to, fight close quarters with Devin Haney. Land some shots to the body. As long as Norman doesn't go in there headhunting, early on when he's fresh, his stamina should be good. If he starts breaking Devin to the body early, I believe it's going to be a different type of fight. It's definitely going to be interesting to watch if fatigue sets in. Both fighters, in my opinion, are going to be in tremendous shape. I do believe Norman can land a shot or two or three or four to get Devin Haney's attention. How Haney takes the shot, who knows? This is his first fight at 147 pounds. And we're not comparing him to Crawford. It's good people are now bookmarking Crawford's feat of moving up a couple of divisions. That's cool. But when it comes to these individuals, it's taken a while for, Devin Haney to get to 147 pounds. It would have been good when they fought at Times Square that his fight would have been at 147 pounds. Because I just don't want to hear the excuses when it comes to, well, this is his first fight at this weight class. Norman's been here already. He's going to be the bigger fight. Not necessarily. They was talking about how big Devin Haney was when he fought Regis Prograis. You know what I'm saying? That's what they was talking about, man. He was like 155, 160, or whatever weight he was. Both fighters are looking in tremendous shape right now, getting ready for this fight. They're looking in tremendous shape, man. This fight is going down November 22nd, 2025 this year. And it's one of the bigger fights in Riyadh that people are going to be tuned into. This is one of the bigger fights in Riyadh season that people are going to be tuned into. This is not a unification fight. This is a fight to shake up the welterweight division. The welterweight division, in a bit of ways, it's been a lot of hopes, wishes, and people got down, crossing their fingers that it sparks up interest a little bit outside of Crawford being undisputed. Errol Spencer's no longer there. They've been waiting. And it's good that Haney's moved up a former undisputed 135-pounder lightweight, two-division champion. It's good that he's going up there to fight the current reigning welterweight defending champion. A fighter who's defending his belt already. I'm glad to see this going on. I do believe that people are looking into the performance-enhancing drugs of Ryan Garcia. And when it happened, they was dogging Devin Haney out. But then you have to look at, you only have one body to go in that ring with. When you split the ropes, it's just you. That's it. So the damage that he took from a drugged Ryan Garcia still affected his body, period. And I truly believe it's going to affect him when he goes in there and fight Norman Jr. I don't know. But they match up very well. The Normans have been on a tear right now. And I'm just saying, when it comes to building up a resume, the Normans have proven to be road warriors. They're willing to go in other people's backyard, right? Both of these fighters have fought internationally. That's what I like about the paperwork. You know what I'm saying? That's what I like about this paperwork. Both of these fighters have been out the backyard. Both of these fighters have traveled to other people's backyard and sparred. Both of these fighters have fought overseas. I like it. That's experience. Haney fought in Australia back to back. Who has the better resume? Of course, Haney has the better resume. Who's hungry on the rise right now? Norman Jr. Would Devin Haney be a name to have on your resume that people respect for Norman Jr.? Absolutely. Absolutely. Is it an East Coast, West Coast thing? Absolutely. You better believe it. You better believe it. Do the South have something to say? Absolutely. I'm just not going to go in here like a lot of people and say, okay, Haney's going to get knocked out. Hey, the only person I seen to do Haney dirty like that was a fighter that ended up influencing the fight to be a no contest. You know what I'm saying? I have to be fair with that. But like I said, you have one host. You have one neurological headquarters, which is your brain. That brain took damage and everything, and it's not absolutely healed. There's no way of really determining the damage that Ryan Garcia did. Then when Norman Jr. does land some of them power shots, they're going to be extremely effective at the highest barometer. It's going to be extremely effective, y'all. And maybe, you know, certain people believe that it's not going to be a big deal, and certain people believe it's going to be detrimental. We're going to find out on the 22nd. I'm going for Norman Jr. to go in there and win by UD. By unanimous decision. Why? Because I'd be a fool to sit up here and think, well, it's just going to be a Jen Sasaki moment. No. Haney is not Jen Sasaki. Haney is not Santillan. It's not. So when you're talking about the skill, the experience, and everything else, I mean, come on. At the end of the day, you know, both fighters, they have been through adversity. And that's another notch that you need to check off the box. Both of these fighters have been through adversity. That's what's going to make it even better, too. Moving on, man. Moving on. O'Shaquie Foster and Stephen Fulton set for December 6th. I like this fight, real talk, and I'm glad it's being rescheduled and they was able to come to an agreement. Cool Boy Steph, in my opinion, is one of the better fighters right now, like two division. He's making his stance. I'm glad he's recovered from losing his belts, going overseas late to Inoue. And since then, man, he's been doing what he's supposed to do, showing that one fight is not going to determine his career. I remember him and J-Rock said, you know, hey, you boxing fans, y'all can't just throw us out. Oh, not his words verbatim, but he's pretty much saying when he was knocked out by Mauro Charlo, boxing fans pretty much jettisoned him as a quality fighter. And he was saying, you just can't take one loss and say boxer's career is over. Because the way J-Rock looked in there with Jerry Hurd, it was tremendous. I said, man, nobody is going to beat this dude if he continue to fight like this in a long time. So what I see from Cool Boy is that he recovered from that, and he's been taking steps up the ladder to add to his legacy. He's been doing his thing. O'Shaquie Foster, good fighter, right? He's a very good fighter. It just seems like sometimes um he looks at his work too much. Like he admires his defense too much. He has slip punches, but not enough offense in return. Um, I think Cool Boy Steph is just both of these fighters are very technically sound fighters, very skilled to the sweet science curriculum. I'm going for Cool Boy Steph though. He has showed that he can fight different styles. He's definitely been through adversity. Definitely been through adversity. Nobody can say that he hasn't gotten off the canvas outside of the innerweight fight and kept his composure and went back and said, "Oh, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good." He went back in there and did what he's supposed to do. I like that, man. He learned from that shit. This is gonna be another good fight in December, man, to close out the year. I like it. Seriously, I like that fight. Let me switch it up a little bit and talk about the fight that people have been speaking on that have mixed emotions and feelings. And that was the Fabio Wardley defeat over Joseph Parker. Some people saying that Joseph Parker should have took a knee in the 11th, right? And I agree. If that what he felt he should have done, but Joseph Parker said that he was okay. When I'm looking at it from home, I felt on the side of Joseph Parker that with the experience that he's had in his career, okay, even though he had his adversity with Joe Joyce, I get it. But Joseph Parker has been in there with some experience. Even Deontay Wilder, he's been in there with some experienced fighters to the point where the referee should allow the fight to continue because Wardley was dead ass tired, man. He was dead ass tired. Now on weighing on the side of Joseph, if he felt like he was in that type of territory and the referee might slide him an egg, a rotten egg, he should have took a knee, recovered. But then again, he probably felt like, let me stay on my feet because Wardley punches is not hurt me. Even though Parker was hurt, he's fatigued too, he's tired. And if I could just weather this storm, I can come back. Because Wardley was dead ass tired. But goddamn it, I'm gonna tell you, Wardley got heart. Wardley got heart, man. And we all knew that he comes on in the later rounds, bro. And he did just that once again. Dude has mad heart. I'm not saying Parker didn't have heart. Wardley has shown to be a very exciting fighter, a driven fighter, one that he's going to fight all the way to the end. He's going to leave it all out there. Grit, durability, tenaciousness, toughness. He's going to leave it all in the ring, man. And I like the fight. I thought Parker was doing what he was supposed to do as a former champion. You know what I'm saying? As a heavyweight contender. I thought he was doing exactly what he should have been doing in there with Wardley. Until, the later rounds where Wardley finally caught him with a nice shot in the 10th and hurt Parker bad. I don't know if he ever recovered, had enough time to recover within that 67, that 60-second mark in between rounds. But he ended up getting hurt again in the 11th round where, when you in those people, those people's backyard, you got to be weary of that. Like, what decisions should I have made when you Parker? Should I have taken a knee? Or should I say, okay, his punch is not really hurting me right now. He's going to punch himself out, and then I'll be able to reinsert myself in the fight. And he didn't get a chance because the referee deemed it. It seemed like he was still defending himself a little bit. Hands up, what does that mean? You're defending yourself. But shout out to Wardley, man. He's proven once again he's a tough he's a tough fighter to deal with in the latter half of the fight, especially when he's down. Shout out to both fighters. Very entertaining fight. I liked it. And I have no complaints for either fighter. They did what they're supposed to do. I don't know if y'all have been paying attention to, certain fighters that have been, a little bit past their competitive age, but they're talking about coming back to the sport to fight. This is my thought on the broken glass theory when people up here complain about fighters not negotiating their worth, right? We assumed through the grapevine that was put out here on social media that Manny Pacquiao was going to come back and fight, right? Again, he was going to get a big name fight, but that fell through, thank God. They was talking about he was going to come back and potentially have a title fight. I'm glad that fell through. Now you have some of everybody that's talking about Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao say he want to fight Floyd Mayweather in the real fight. Then you have Amir Khan saying he wouldn't mind fighting Pacquiao. Pacquiao is still a fighter that's old, but I guess people still kind of, hanging on in his fan club to say, I want to see him get back in the ring. This is a perfect example of not criticizing fighters who's negotiating their worth. Some fighters right now that's young, people saying they're overpricing themselves. They're outpricing themselves. Well, they say start high and then negotiate from there, right? Sometimes, a lot of times in boxing, negotiation starts low and then you start adding from there. They don't start high. And that's not the way it works, depending on who you're dealing with. To see Pacquiao attempting to try to find a dance partner that's worth the money in weight tells me that these fighters should negotiate higher than what they believe that they're worth, only to get to the price or the purse tag that they really want to step into the ring. What I don't like is if a fighter isn't serious and they just up there pricing themselves high, knowing that they don't want to fight. It's repetitive. But one thing we need to understand about boxing, the game has changed. There's a lot of older fighters that's coming back to play ball, and they're not being criticized. People allowing it to happen. People saying, okay, all right, we can't do nothing about it. Let them come back and contend. It's their decision. At the end of the day, they've done this, this, and this, and this. When does your credentials get in the way? When does your record book get in the way as a fighter? When does it become unhealthy just because commissions want to make some money off you and to approve a fighter that's too old and over the hill to come back and fight a younger fighter? I guess for Manny Pacquiao, they're going to have to see him get flatlined like he did against Juan Manuel Marquez. That's just my opinion. I think they're going to actually have to see this man get flatlined again before commissions stop approving him over here for any dance opponent. If Manny Pacquiao continues to come back and go 12 rounds or get title shots with these fighters and they're not knocking him out or knocking him down, he's going to continue to get fights, man. So what should the language be with the fight fans and the casuals all the way up to the hardcores? You should change it up a little bit. Don't start talking about age, because there's a lot of lessons learned, man, that we've been a part of recently, especially with Crawford and Canelo. Canelo's younger than Crawford, but Crawford went up there as an older fighter and made Canelo look like he was older. Then after the fight, the fans say, well, Canelo was worn out from boxing at 15 years of age. There's a lot of miles on that speedometer, that biological speedometer, all the freaking sparring rounds, all the freaking championship rounds. Oh, man, all the damn high-level competition that he's faced. They came up with all this criteria after post-fight of Crawford making him look a certain way, and Crawford was the older fighter. There's similarities in this. Floyd Mayweather was also the older fighter, and Bud Crawford was the older fighter. So now you have to equate the skill set and say some of these fighters are just skilled. And just like I always say, it's no such thing as the prime. It's no such thing, because if a fighter never shows you any type of dilapidation in their skill set. You're not going to be able to say, well, they're in their prime because of their age. Crawford at his age fighting Canelo, I mean, he looked fresh, fast, all that. He looked like what he's been doing over the years and people didn't give him max credit for, and taking care of his body, not being out there in the, nightlife, not really being a boxer who goes out here and party. It seems like if you preserve your body, depending on who you are, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? You can excel on the back end when you get in your late 30s, your early 40s. B-Hop has proven that. You know what I'm saying? The late, great Foreman, George Foreman, has proven, did he preserve his body the 9 years that he was out of the ring and then came back and ended up fighting Michael Moore and winning the chip? I mean, everybody is different. But when you have these fighters who are older fighting these younger guys, we just can't use the same declaration as we always do, the saying they too old. What's going on? They too old. No, we can't do this. They're just too old. It doesn't work like that no more. The training technology has changed. Food has changed. The entire educational process of hiring people to get you where you need to be, whereas strength and conditioning, nutrition, just adding and subtracting from your team works towards success as a fighter. Let me move on from that. Schofield, man. From what I heard, Floyd Schofield, Kid Austin, has pulled out of another fight. He was about to step through the ropes with a very experienced Jojo Diaz. Many people would say Tevin Farmer was experienced too. But there's a commonality between these two. Fight camps, taking a little bit of time off from that, to allow your body to heal, and jumping right back in there in a full fight camp and tearing your body down again. It's tough, but just so happened they wasn't able to pull the second round though. They got Tevin Farmer. We've seen this happen with Hammy McGill. He was like on the fourth or fifth time fighting in that year, Bruno Sarasa, and ended up getting stopped. Tevin Farmer, stop. Jojo Diaz having these tough fights, trying to get back on the road to recovery. He need the money. He's about to go in there, and Kid Austin end up with injury. So, they take to social media to brush it off like it's no big deal. My thing is, I'm not a strength and conditioning coach by any means, right? But the way I look at pulling out of big fights, this is the second one. It's not it's not 2 strikes in a row. It's not. It's just this is the second one where people was, anxious to see how you would fare in there with a tough, experienced fighter like Jojo Diaz. A fighter who's been in there with some pretty solid names, we might add. Even fighting Gary Russell Jr. back in the day. But now looking at it, he wasn't the reason why this fight fell out. It was Schofield. And as I said before, right, Schofield has some of the best training exercises, strength and conditioning exercises that he posts in boxing. I think it really builds up his profile posting those strength and conditioning cycles, those regiments that he be going through. I think it boosts up his profile. What doesn't addition his profile properly is him pulling out of big fights, him getting injured somehow, some way. I don't know if it was from his strength and conditioning or it was from sparring or whatever the case. All right. So keep your eye on that. That's all I can tell you. Keep your eye on that. They talking about coming at the top of the year. So be it. It says Bomac shuts down Boots in his fight talk. It says Crawford can do whatever he wants after Canelo win. This is my take on the cameo. It's not, I wouldn't say it's a cameo. I like to say a snapshot. When people put the shorts up there, I call the short snapshots, right? Because it's a short moment on where it's an edit, a very brief edit of an important point made. Sometimes it's just from one individual or a group of individuals. But Bomac, this is not his first time having an encounter with Two-Tone. And he just pretty much said that, hey, you're wrong on Bud. You know, Two-Tone is trying to say that Bud is a ducker. Now, one thing we know for sure, just like I mentioned earlier, there's individuals that's going to focus on certain fighters or certain individuals in a negative way. Two-Tone has always displayed that he's a Bud hater, period. Do I dislike the man for supporting a fighter, not supporting a fighter like Bud? No, I mean, he's getting his popularity, and he's a co-pilot or a passenger on the Boxing Voice, social media right now. And it's, in my opinion, it's not bad at all, him being up there, being the heel, because Ness is the heel of certain boxers also. But Bomac made a good point in saying, no, you got it wrong. You know what I'm saying? You got that wrong. Because if you look back at who Canelo was fighting before he stepped in there with William School, we wasn't impressed by who he was fighting. We didn't really care. People say, oh, Edgar Berlanga. Okay. But we didn't think he was going to beat him. Jamel Charlo. Okay. We didn't think he was going to beat him. Homie McGear. We didn't think he was going to beat Canelo. John Ryder. Definitely not. Triple G and the Trilogy. Definitely not. So when it gets to what Crawford has been able to do, I just think it's the reduced popularity that Crawford doesn't have with the boxing fans. He is one of those messiahs, man. Crawford is one of those fighters that's anointed in his own right. And the people, instead of saluting and giving him his plaudits, they want to continue to criticize the man because they don't want to allow Crawford to think that he has broken another fan base. He has proven extensively that he is the best of this era, right? And people are not satisfied with that. It doesn't bring them happiness. They would have liked for it to go on script, but it went off script. Everything that they were saying that was supposed to happen leading up to this fight, it didn't happen. A fighter who hasn't had one bail at 168 pounds, besides answering it on the night of September 13th, that destroyed a lot of Canelo's fan base. And Bomac got it right telling Two-Tone, no, he can do what he wants. He don't have to fight Ennis. When people was up here saying that Crawford should fight Errol, they was in the same division, and they still say Crawford didn't fight nobody. He don't deserve to fight Errol. Errol is the cash cow. Errol is the cash cow. He don't deserve to fight him. When you heard that Turkey Al-Sheikh took the fight down for Crawford fighting Canelo Alvarez because Canelo was going to fight Jake Paul, you literally had people up here cheering that Crawford wasn't going to get the Canelo fight. And come to find out, just like I said, Turkey was BSing. It's happened, y'all. This article says Terrence Crawford trainer Brian Boback McIntyre rejected the possibility of the newly crowned undisputed 168-pound champion fighting Jaron Boots Ennis next. He stated that Ennis had his chance to fight Crawford to make good money, but he didn't agree to it. That fight is no longer being offered to Boots. Now, is Bomac lying? No, he's not lying, because we've seen where Boots turned down the fight with Virgil Ortiz. If you had the opportunity, You call yourself stripping Crawford of an IBF title, knowing he was locked into a rematch with Errol Spence. Then you turn around and beat an undersized Stantionis. I mean, you said you was going to step on him, but your performances didn't add up to what your words and what your mouth was saying. You said you're going to step on it. It's over. I get these titles. I'm be in and out like a robbery. No, he went shopping, y'all. He went all the way through the mall and everything, checking price tags, looking on the clearance rack, all that. He did not live up to his words. Point blank, period. He didn't live up to his words, y'all. So, I mean, you have a lot of people looking at the up and comer that went into isolation, seclusion, right? In boxing. And it's went into seclusion for a little bit because people like, you turned down the Virgil Ortiz fight. A surplus of other fighters, you turn them down. I don't know what he's gonna do. We're gonna wait. You know, he up there fighting Karen and all that shit before Avenesian. They're like, okay, you about Ennis, the one that was supposed to be the next best phenom after Errol Spence. It's crazy how they was touting Errol Spence. I mean, Jerron Ennis after Errol Spence. It's almost like a passing of the torch. Ennis didn't want to fight EJ. They was in the WBO, but jumped out and went to the IBF. Did they not? They made that transfer quick, didn't they? Right before July 29th, man. Boom. They over there at the IBF because they believed that Errol Spence was going to have enough to get it done, which turned out not to be the case. So now coming full circle, Bomac, the mad scientist, is right when he tell Two-Tone that Crawford can do what the hell he want to do. I mean, how many feats? How many unbelievable feats? How many first feats do you have to accomplish? The first to become two division. The first. What has Jerron Ennis been the first at besides being in the lunch line? Being the first in the bodega? Being the first in the gym to cut the lights off. What has he done to be the first? I mean, there's a lot of areas that I can go, but I'm not here to dog the man out. I'm not here to do a Jerron Ennis boxing FICO. But Bomac is right, man. Crawford can do what the hell he want to do. It says Bomac sounded defensive, repeatedly rejected Ennis as a potential next opponent for Crawford to fight. He made it clear the young phenom is not an option. Why should Jerron Ennis be an option? Why? He just fought Uiz Malema. It didn't even make it out of the first 3 minutes of the fight. You feel me? What up, AB? What's good? It didn't make it out the first 3 minutes of the fight. It didn't even make it out the first 2 minutes of the fight. But this is what's supposed to bring him to the doorstep of the anointed one himself, Terrence Bud Crawford. You're trying to tell me pound for pound doesn't mean anything because you're from Omaha, Nebraska, and I guess you're not in its totality in the good graces of boxing fans to become a favorite? Hey, Crawford probably understands he's never going to be that guy that's the favorite in the lens of the boxing fans. It's just not going to happen while he's in this era. But what will remain a written, recorded fact is his accomplishments will follow him from today all the way out the door until he knocks his gloves into retirement and when he gives his Hall of Fame speech. That will never absolve or go anywhere. What he's been able to do in this era in the last couple of years and prior to that, people will always be talking about it. You know, Crawford beat Errol Spence, and it took Errol Spence this long to come back, if he ever comes back. You know, Crawford defeated Canelo Alvarez easily in Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. He wasn't in Omaha, Nebraska. They was in Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. This man moved up 2 divisions and fought what was considered the best pound for pound fighter at one point in time in the sport. the cash cow, the money maker, the Mexican heart shaker. People respected and supported Canelo Alvarez to the fullest. His fan base, of course. But the only man to shut down 2 fan bases in a single era, the only man to become 2 division, 3 division, undisputed, Terrence Bud Crawford. Come on, man. Who's gonna do that? Who's gonna reciprocate that? Who's gonna be able to challenge Crawford for the throne? By, first of all, measuring up to the bar. Who's gonna measure up to the bar, man? He's the first to do it in 2 and 3 divisions. He moved up 2 divisions and showed that, hey, it's all about you. Who are you? I'm me. I've been this person for a long time. It took me a little bit longer to get to the goal, but here I am, the grand stage. And I just showed people that I'm the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. He showed them. He made easy work of Canelo Alvarez. And a lot of people seen him doing what he's supposed to do on his professional job, and they still hated on the man. They still said, I don't like this shit. I don't like how he was able to go in there and beat our Canelo Alvarez. Oh, you are, y'all, our Canelo Alvarez the way he did. I know it sucks, yo. It sucks all to be damned. But when it comes down to it, that's what Crawford had trained. That's the position he had trained to be in his whole freaking career. It may have, went off course a little bit. He may have been, traveling on a gravel road for a minute, a bit bumpy. A lot of hills, downhills. He had to get his freaking, PR together. He had to make the decision to entertain the media just a little bit different, because at this point in time, he was in the spotlight he always dreamed about. And when you're in that spotlight, sometimes you definitely have to be forced to change your comfort zone. So once he changed and jumped outside his comfort zone and know that he had to, cater to media just a little bit more, he started to blossom. People wanted to talk to him. People wanted to know what he had going on. People want to hear what he had to say. He was the hottest topic, and still to this day, the hottest topic on YouTube. If you ask these creators who's really running the numbers on their views, when you talk about Terrence Crawford and what's going on, people want to know what's the question. What is the conversational piece? What topic are we on? What's Crawford got going on? Who he's fighting next? He'll never be the most popular. But you can't say he didn't beat the most popular. That's in the books. September 13th changed that. I heard people saying, 13th. Oh, that's bad luck. Trichodecaphobia. Oh, my God. Oh, that's bad for Crawford. When you don't believe in that stuff and you go out here and still perform to the highest order, you get the results like Crawford did, man. You get those results. Period. You get the results that people believe that's not going to happen. They believe they have, if they talk loud enough and long enough, and they keep on saying the same thing over and over, it will affect the fighter. Like you have some of these, voices on social media that will speak, out and try to speak it into existence, that Crawford can't beat Canelo. He's too small. He's not experienced enough. Look at his resume. Oh, man, Canelo ain't Spence. If they continue to talk, and they feel good until September 14th, when the results are in, and the winner was announced. And new super middleweight undisputed out of Omaha, Nebraska, Terrence Bud Crawford. Oh my God. Do you know the DNA that was being shed in Allegiant Stadium? Do you understand the DNA that still is there to this moment in two different places in Vegas? That the culprit, the administrator of that DNA is Terrence Bud Crawford. The T-Mobile massacre. Come on, bro. The T-Mobile massacre. Come on, man. Crawford has two of the best fights of this era, man. In Vegas. Yo. Come on, man. You can say what you want. What up, Blue? How you feeling, bro? Salute to you, man. But that's where we at with the whole change up right now. The entire change up is we're not looking for Crawford Canelo right now, even though the rumors has it that a rematch may be on the horizon. The rematch on the manifesto potentially next year, early semester 2026. I'm hoping that's not the case because okay, let me underscore it like this. I don't fear anything as far as Crawford fighting Canelo a second time, right? I don't. I believe Crawford can beat Canelo a second time. When it comes to boxing, attempting to make a trilogy out of this, you're going to have fight fans saying there's no way that Crawford can go in there and beat Canelo twice. Has there been any fighter that beat Canelo twice? Let's just say Crawford gets 100 million this time, right? Let's just say he gets a larger share of the monetary purse. He goes in there and he fights Canelo. He beats him again. Having Canelo on your resume in the win column twice, is it going to stain his career? No. Will he get any more out of it? He'll get a little bit. Like I said, he's not the most popular fighter in boxing, but he will get his credit. But a lot of people, post-fight of September 13th was saying that Canelo is old. His legs are worn out. He fought Crawford fought a worn down Canelo. And I say, man, the audacity of these people, the audacity for them to say he fought a worn down Canelo all of a sudden. The same Canelo that went in there and had his last 5 fights, 6 fights, easy. Getting knockdowns and all that. When he goes in there and fight what some people want to call a welterweight or a super welterweight fighter that stood in the pocket with him more than what people assumed he would, then comes to excuses, man. The selective amnesia sets in, man. Selective amnesia becomes contagious in the boxing community. So for him to attempt or potentially fight Canelo in 2026, I won't want to see it. I would want to see him go for a 6th division. I would rather him go down to 160 and fight the winner of Janabek Laura and be a 6th division world champion. I would rather see him fight that because he's proven All he need to prove at 168. So I would like for him to, jump on the elevator down the floor and introduce himself to the 160-pound middleweight division. That's what I would like to see. That's all. I would like to see that, man. Him being a 6th division world champion, bro. I mean, people already, Crawford is humble and say he's not going to compare himself to Floyd Mayweather because he was the best of his era and I'm the best of my era, so to speak. But Mayweather has not a single division of undisputed. Mayweather may have the numbers of the pay-per-view. Yes, indeed. Can't deny that. But just for Crawford to take advantage of not only getting some of his highest earnings as a professional fighter, but also to addition his legacy for his history, to archive those achievements, I think that in itself is important also, And remember who's writing this, Tom. So they switching up over there at Boxing News. They say Bomac said, what else does Bud have to prove in the game? He gave the guys an opportunity. They passed it up, said trainer Brian Bomac McIntyre, the boxing voice, rejecting the suggestion that Terrence Crawford should fight Jerome Boots Ennis next. I mean, what's wrong with them speaking out about it? And I know Bomac frustration is turbulent. He's heard so much negativity, and they continue to go ahead and prove people wrong and say we can fight in the rain and still not get wet. It said Boots had his chance to make good money. He had his chance to fight Bud, but he passed it up. Virgil Ortiz had his chance. Now you want to give him another chance? The hell with him, said Bomac. Bomac said, the hell with him. The hell I say. The hell I say. The hell I say. I'm just saying, yo. Is he wrong? Is Bomac wrong? He ain't wrong, man. Bomac ain't wrong. Nope. He is not wrong for feeling the way he feel because they did everything they were supposed to do the right way. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Come on, bro. Started from the bottom, now we're here. His whole team is here, and they still want him to make. Can you just give us just one concession, though? Can you consider the bottom half? I know what you're gonna say. They didn't consider y'all when y'all was climbing up that ladder. But can you consider? No, man. People get to a point where they're basically recording and registering all this mentally of all the naysayers and haters and all that goddamn discontent. And they say to themselves, you know what? We have to go through all this. Forget it being red tape. We have all this limitation placed upon us. Doubt. We just can't show people. They don't want to give us a chance. We just can't show them. We got to crawl over here to fight this person, go to this person, fight this person. Why can't we just fight the person that we want to fight? No, they don't want that to happen. When he finally got to that dance, he was playing some different music. He destroyed Spence. He went in there and made easy work of Canelo. Why should he reach back to a fighter like Ennis who hasn't proven anything yet? He had to have a tune-up at 154. He hasn't shown anybody anything. He just showed that he can run the score. That's all I'm saying. He showed that he can run the score, and that's that. Am I right or wrong? 35 professional wins. I don't dislike Ennis as a person. I'm just saying as a boxer, his boxing FICO doesn't add up to stepping in there with a fighter like Crawford. It doesn't. That's all I'm saying. But I got to bounce, man. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MFA game, A-Side Official. Till next time, I'm out.